This is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, January 29th, 2018. Looking at precipitation over the past 14 days is kind of depressing. If you look at the map on the right showing percent of normal, you can see pretty much the entire Great Basin is below normal with the exception of the mountains in central Idaho. So it has been very dry compared to normal across most of the area over the past 2 weeks. Looking at snowfall, there was a fair amount of snowfall across the northern half of the Great Basin over the past 72 hours, but really quite dry across the southern two-thirds of the area. The map on the right shows our snow depth, and there's really not much coverage in the valley areas. Most of the snow coverage currently is in the higher elevations of the Great Basin. Looking at percent of average as far as the snow on the ground in the Great Basin, again, most of the area is pretty well below average. The only exception to that are some mountain sites in central Idaho, but really it's been quite a dismal winter across the Great Basin this year. Just to further drive home this point, here's the SNOTEL sampling from Timpanogos Divide. It's in central Utah, and that green line shows our current snow accumulation for this year, and the blue line shows what we typically see. So you can see we're well below average this year as far as snowfall. Now just to compare it to last year, which is the red line, you can see are well below what we saw last year as far as snow accumulation. The satellite image this morning shows some moisture in place across the northern part of the Great Basin, and again quite dry further south. So looking at the weather pattern for this afternoon, you can see that moisture reflected in the map on the left with those green colors further north across the Great Basin. Ventilation index is low across much of the area today with that high pressure in place, so not a lot of mixing today. Just taking a look in a little more detail, you can see those transport winds are really light across the entire area with low mixing heights. As we move into tomorrow, we will see a weak system move to the north of the Great Basin. That will bring some improved mixing to the northern part of the area, but we will continue to see port affair conditions further south. And just taking a look at that in a little more detail, you can see those stronger transport winds across the north, quite light across the south with really low mixing heights. As we move into Wednesday, high pressure begins to build across the western part of the Great Basin, leading to a decrease in ventilation indices across Nevada. And again, looking at that in more detail, you can see those light transport winds from the building high pressure along with the low mixing heights. So, taking a look at the Utah Forecast Clearing Index from the National Weather Service in Salt Lake. For the next 3 days, you can see, again, that general trend reflected with pretty poor clearing indices Monday and Tuesday, and some improvement expected for Wednesday. 3-day precipitation accumulation forecasts, again, show the precipitation focused across the northern part of the Great Basin with not much across Utah or Nevada or the Arizona Strip. As we move into Thursday, we'll continue to see high pressure in place across the majority of the Great Basin. That continues into Friday with a continuation of those really low ventilation indice values. On Saturday, we do see a system drop to the northeast of the area, which could bring some improvement in the mixing to the Great Basin. And again, on Sunday, a pretty similar pattern. So some improvement is possible next weekend with the potential for a storm system dropping to our northeast. In the 4 to 5 day range, not much in the way of precipitation across the Great Basin. Again, just focused across those areas that have seen more precipitation further north into the northeast. In the 8 to 14 day outlook, things are not looking any better. We're looking at above normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin and below normal precipitation. So this dry, warm pattern we are currently stuck in will continue through at least the first week of February. That's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.